Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Manchester City beat Fulham yesterday 2-1 in a scintillating and impressive victory over Fulham at the Etihad Stadium. There was absolutely loads to talk about and I'm delighted. And this is also the second time that I filmed this video because I took the memory card out too quickly and wasted the entire file. So I'm very tired and I can't believe I'm doing this again. Hopefully it'll be as good as the first time that I recorded it. You'll never know, but we'll see anyway. Either way, thanks for watching this video. Please do hit the like button. Please do hit the subscribe button. I can't wait to talk about this game because I feel like this game was absolutely huge for Manchester City. I feel like there was loads of talking points. I am going to mainly talk about positive ones because after a game like that with so many energetic performances, that's where I want to focus my energies because to me, it was sensational stuff, as is OneFootball. Please go and download OneFootball right now. Help support your football knowledge. Go and marvel at KDB's wonderful stats or Erling Haaland's continued redefining of what goal scoring means in this league, or all the breaking news, or just general goal updates from across the Premier League and the world of football. I've been using it now for like 6 years and it's helped support my channel too. Download OneFootball and nourish your football knowledge. Help support my channel and do yourself a good one. So I'm going to start with the place I started before I recorded this again. I'm going to start with a question which is also the thumbnail of this video. Are we actually witnessing peak Kevin De Bruyne? Now, I'm saying this because a while back, many months ago, people were starting to wonder, has KDB already peaked? Are we starting to see the natural regression in his game, given his age and given the fact that when you get to a certain point, your physicality will start to dwindle a tiny bit? If so, that was fucking nonsense, wasn't it? It was absolutely nothing. KDB yesterday was absolutely sensational. And not just because he was creative and brilliant as he always is, that's just what KDB does. It was because that physicality to his performance was there too. Honestly, at times KDB, well, he was moving like 𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿. He was moving like, and Man United fans, I've got unfortunately some very close Man United friends because I'm from Manchester, and they always talk about how good, for example, the 𝐌𝐿𝐿𝐴 performance was away at Juventus in the Champions League. And I could talk about, I don't know, Fernandinho at his pomp, or look at people like Patrick Vieira, these people who are known as more defensive-minded players. And that was what Kevin De Bruyne was yesterday. He wasn't just creating chances, he was bursting back and forth, and he was fast, and he was strong, and he was powerful, and he was physical, and just absolutely domineering on that pitch. And that, to me, isn't a man who's peaking anywhere anytime soon. I mean, the idea was that he'd gone up here and he'd reached the top and started to come down. Still be brilliant, but started to come down on that curve. No, actually, he's still at the top of that curve and he's still being wonderful because KDB yesterday, he was the heartbeat of this team. He was the leader. He was absolutely sensational. And I'm going to say it, and it takes some saying, but to me, I think he might be my favourite ever Manchester City player. And that is ahead of Aguero, Silva, Yaya, Vinny, Zaba, Shawnee Wright, you know, all these people. I think he is. I think he's absolutely incredible because he has a bit of everything. And also he's the most incredible creative player I've ever seen in a City shirt. I think KDB is actually at his peak now. He hasn't passed it. He's there. And that to me is exciting because he's got a few years left, I reckon, of being absolutely immense. Not just the physicality, the creativity is there as well. I think the signs are there and we should be very, very excited. And not just because of that, because I think we've got ourselves a _regen. Just when you think things couldn't be good enough as it is with Erling Haaland, we've got this guy, Julian Alvarez, yet again. Do you know that meme where it's like you've got the woman from The Office comparing two pictures side by side and she's got to spot the difference and she just goes, it's the same picture. That is Aguero and Julian Alvarez with his finishing. Honestly, the finishes that he's had this week, the one in the Champions League the other day where he rounded the keeper and took the shot on his left foot into the roof of the net. And then yesterday, when through on goal, first time early shot into the roof of the net with loads of power. They're just Sergio Aguero finishes. Of course, his overall game's a little bit different. He's more likely to link up and so on. And he presses much more aggressively than could ever did. Tevez anyone, it really is that. But he's finishing, it's just ridiculous, man. It really is. It really did pain me in general to lose Sterling and Jesus because I love both of them and I'm very appreciative of what they brought to Manchester City over the years. But I'm sorry, there's no way that those two are finishing those two chances and getting 2 goals from them. They're just not. They aren't killers in front of goal. Great players, but they will never killers in front of goal. They probably wouldn't score both. I mean, there's a chance that maybe they would score 1 or 2 of them. One of them, you know, but not 2 in a row. They just wouldn't because they aren't monsters in front of goal. And we've now got Haaland, who's probably the most natural finisher in world football. And we've got Alvarez, who finishes like Aguero too. We are absolutely blessed. We've absolutely improving our clinical instinct in front of goal. And that is only going to bode well when we get to the business end of the season in the knockout competitions in particular. Maybe we sacrificed a tiny bit of control when we're not playing a false nine. But in terms of our finishing, it's absolutely changed. We've got killers in front of goal now. Give them half a chance and they'll bury it, you know. Alvarez and Haaland. And that also kind of rubs off on people like Foden as well. It's wonderful stuff and it could help us in the Champions League. This guy always does, man. This next point, I've just put Bernardo. Look, we all know he wants to go to sunnier climates somewhere. Him and his missus want to kind of be on the Riviera somewhere or in Barcelona and have nice, you know, fancy food out in the sun on some, you know, gorgeous promenade or whatever. I don't know what he does. He wants to have something lovely. But whatever it takes, man. I know we probably close this door, but can we open it again and fucking beg Bernardo Silva to stay because he's sensational, man. Sheikh Mansour, build him a beach in Ankos, a microclimate, a beach and whatever, I don't know. Give him a £10 million bonus. Make him on 400 grand a week up there with Haaland and De Bruyne. I don't care what it takes, but beg him to find a way to stay for another few years if possible, because Bernardo Silva is just stupidly good. Him and Kevin De Bruyne yesterday, they were absolutely rampant. He was Kante and David Silva in one package. At times, he was back getting the ball, the deepest man on the pitch, dictating play. And then seconds later, he was dribbling past the fullback and twisting this way and that way. How does he do it? I would love to see a thesis or analysis on just how good he was yesterday because he was breaking what I thought was possible from a footballer. Bernardo Silva and KDB, sensational. Don't get me wrong, Rodri and Gundogan were 9 out of 10s too, but I think these two were 10 out of 10 yesterday. Bernardo Silva, you're somehow watching this, just stay, man. Stay until you're 30. Give him a release clause of like 70, 80 million that he can activate in 2 years' time and let him go, but convince him to stay for now because he is a big part of the next point, that elite mentality. I want to talk about Manchester City mentality, man. Mentality monsters are apparently the Scousers, but it's Manchester City. Do you know how hard it is to do what they've done year after year after year and keep finding the energy to go again? It wouldn't even be a bad thing if one or two players naturally dropped off because that is human nature. When you are the best and life is good and you keep winning things, you can get a little bit gluttonous. You can get a little bit relaxed and just rest on your laurels and so on because it's human nature to do that. But they keep responding. They keep finding a way to challenge themselves and go and go and go again because they are elite players with an elite mentality. Yesterday, it was Fulham and a horrible day. The wind was minging. It was rainy. It was cold. Decisions were going against them in their eyes. They were frustrated. The goal was disallowed after they found the energy to get back in the game and get ahead. And they could have folded at any point, but did they fold? No, did they fuck? They carried on pressing and working, and they got their just rewards. They were the better side against a very good Fulham side. They dominated. It's incredible. The mentality is wonderful, which is also why, in my opinion, Pep Guardiola was so happy. I've just put at the bottom, Pep loves it, because he did. Did you see Guardiola at the end, man? That is the happiest I've seen Pep in ages. That looked like Pep looked like he won the league yesterday. Like, to me, Pep understood the importance of that. That's why the players were on the pitch doing a lap of honour. That's why Guardiola was dancing in front of the cameras. And that's why Guardiola was hugging Haaland. Haaland hugged him, by the way. That is the mentality once again. But to me, the biggest concern that Guardiola's always had, and he said this many times, is that he moves on when he feels like the players do not respond to him anymore. You've only got to watch that yesterday to know that Guardiola would have fucking loved that. He would have loved it for many reasons. One, because the players stuck to his principles in the face of much adversity. Horrible weather, decisions going against them in their eyes, whether it was true or not. Either way, they felt like they were hard done by. But they still played the football that Guardiola wanted them to play. They still kept passing it around and working and probing and trying to create chances. And two, because they responded to him with determination and conviction and belief. If you are a manager, you want to see these players care. You want to see them absolutely committed to your style of football. That is why Guardiola loved it yesterday. He will know that that was one of the most important performances that he will ever see as a manager for his team. It's all very good celebrating and getting motivated when you're up for a title win. You know, anyone can motivate themselves for a cup final or a big game against a rival, but motivating yourself on a day like today, or yesterday, sorry, when it's horrible and it's difficult and you could just take a draw and fuck off and be happy with 10 men, that is really difficult to do, and Guardiola will appreciate that. And I think you'll look back in years and you'll have a fond memory of what happened on the 5th of November in 2022 when Manchester City beat Fulham 2-1, because those are the kind of games that really, really show a manager that these players care, that these players love what he wants to do, and that they will work for him, and that they are committed to everything that he says. Pep is one of us, man. He's one of us, and I've never been more certain after a performance that Pep Guardiola might just hang around a bit longer than we expected. He might sign a contract because the players are committed to it, and Guardiola, I think, is committed to Manchester City. Guys, they are the 5 things that I've learned for the second time. You didn't see the first draft. I think this was pretty good as well, actually. I think I got the words back in what I wanted to portray. I didn't talk about Grealish, and his people questioning his form, and I didn't talk about Cancelo making another mistake, because I don't know. We can talk about that another day. For now, after a day like that, I think there was far too many positives to take from it to dwell on the negatives. It's just not who I am as a person. I could talk about those things if you wanted to, but I want to talk about De Bruyne being brilliant. Alvarez, man. Bernardo Silva, that mentality, Pep's reaction, they were the things that got me going as a football fan, so that is why I talked about him. Thanks for watching. Thanks to the Patreons. Thanks for being beautiful. And thanks for all the likes and comments and all that kind of stuff. It's very, very much appreciated. Subscribe, like, watch the match reaction, and I'll catch you tomorrow for another video in a bit.